Hi, I'm Jessica, and when I'm not drinking all the coffee, watching Razorback sports, or hanging out with my family of boys, it's my passion to help elementary music teachers just like you find your unique teaching style. My goal with this podcast is to share helpful tips, strategies, and to give you the motivation you need to gain momentum in your teaching so you can continue being the music teacher rock star you already are. Today's episode is short, sweet, and to the point. I've had a lot of questions before about how to successfully put on a talent show, and a lot of times the music teacher is asked to do this. And so when you're given this task of putting on a talent show, it can be a little overwhelming if you've never done it before. So this episode is taken directly from the Elementary Music Teacher Blueprint course, and you can find the link in the show notes for that. So this is actually a lesson coming directly from the course. And I just decided instead of recording an episode, I would just share with you the lesson from the course, because in there I give a step-by-step approach in exactly how to plan a talent show from tryouts all the way to the actual day of. So I hope you enjoy this episode and get a lot from it, and that if you are planning a talent show for your school, that this really helps you, gives you a step-by-step approach in what to do.
Lesson 19, Putting on a Successful Talent Show. In this lesson, we'll discuss how to hold tryouts, finding the right balance of acts, holding the dress rehearsal, and the day of. How to hold tryouts. First of all, I want to start out by saying at your school, you maybe have other teachers that are in charge of the talent show, and that's awesome. It totally takes it off your plate. But a lot of times the music teacher is asked to put this on. So if you are, here's how to do it. So you're going to set a date or two for students to sign up for a time slot to try out. Same thing as Honor Choir. If they don't show up, they can't try out. So also along with that, this is a little more difficult because if the students are trying out in a group of kids, and like let's say they have a group of 4 students trying out for a dance, then only 3 of them show up for the tryout. They need to be aware that only the kids who show up for the tryout are going to be allowed to be in the talent show. So they need to make sure they really work it out with their group when they can try out together, so they know, okay, if we're all wanting to do this, we're all going to have to try out. They must have their act approved before tryouts. This happens a lot where the kids will not tell you ahead of time what song they're wanting to, perform to, and it's definitely not school appropriate. Or they're trying to do something that's just not really a talent. So approving it before they try out, you don't need to necessarily know their whole dance or their whole routine or whatever they're doing, but you need to approve it. You need to approve the music especially. That's the big one. Take notes during their tryout so you can go back and review them later. Have 2 other teachers or adults sitting in on the tryouts. Some teachers just love to do this kind of stuff, so they would definitely want to do it with you. And then narrow the list down to no more than 15 to 20 acts to keep the talent show right at an hour. Finding the right balance of acts. You definitely want to make sure you don't have the same, everybody singing. You don't want to make sure you don't have every single person doing a comedy act. So if you do have a lot of people trying out for singing or dancing, or I even had kids like dribbling basketball. They did like a cool basketball routine. You're going to be amazed. These kids will come with these acts and talents that you didn't even know they had. But so if you do end up with a lot of singers, then what you can do is if they all end up making the talent show, then just place them in different parts of the talent show so they're not all clumped up together, if that makes sense. So finding the right balance of acts. You can have dancing, singing, instrument playing, magic tricks, comedy, and I put other because like I said, things like kids dribbling the basketball, you're going to have, or someone just doing card tricks. You're going to have kids come in doing all kinds of things that are pretty awesome, if I can be honest. But there's going to be some kids coming in trying out and you're like, yeah, you can't sing. So you're not going to say it like that to them, obviously, but you're going to want to find the right balance of acts. Kids that can actually do what they're trying out for is a huge plus. Okay, so holding the dress rehearsal. Everyone needs to come prepared and on time. The dress rehearsal, it may be after school. Work it out with your principal. You can, mine was during the day, but I worked it out with my principal ahead of time where it was like towards the end of the day, like the last 45 minutes on a day I knew we didn't have a lot. There was no testing and things like that. So work that out with your principal when you can have a dress rehearsal, but you need to have one. So it's just not, everything thrown together at the last minute. So everyone needs to come prepared and on time. They need to give you their music ahead of time so you can go ahead and have it all, however you're going to organize that music. If you're just going to put in one CD at a time, or if you're planning to put it all on one, online, or however you're going to do it. You need to have their music ahead of time so you can get it all prepared. If they just like tryouts, if they miss the dress rehearsal, they can't participate. Show students where to sit when it's not their turn to perform. So maybe spots on the floor, you have tape with their names on it or something like that. Work on proper audience and performing behavior. If they're as an audience, it's not their turn to perform, then they're sitting in the audience and they're doing proper audience behavior. The other students that come to watch the talent show, then, they're going to kind of be feeding off that and explain to them, you're showing them how to sit and how to act. Go over what to do the day of. Show the students how to get on the stage, off the stage, what to do with their jump rope or whatever they have when they're finished. All the things they need to know to participate in the talent show the day of. Collect any music. We already went over that. And then have the MC practice. You're going to have a student, or maybe it could be a teacher, that is going to be the one introducing the acts. And they also need to practice talking through all the parts. And then the day of. Students should arrive to their designated spots on time. That's the spots, like I told you, you'll have on the floor with the tape with their names on it. And then remind them of expectations when they're not performing. Help out the kids with stage fright. You're going to have some that even do a great job at the dress rehearsal. And then for some reason, the day of the performance, they get up there and they're just a nervous wreck. And so just explain to them, go over like stage fright. We all have it. Give them strategies on what to do if they end up freezing, what they can do, taking deep breaths, and just tell them to look at you if all else fails. Just find my eyeballs. I'll help you out. And then also go over with other students your audience expectations. The students coming to the talent show that are not participants, you've probably already gone over this in your class at this point about how to sit at a program and concert etiquette. So the same thing goes along with a talent show. They need to sit correctly and quietly while someone is performing. All right, you guys, we have one lesson left. So go ahead and do the worksheet for lesson 19, and I'll see you in our final lesson, lesson 20.
Thank you so much for listening in to the Elementary Music Teacher Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, I would love for you to review the show and leave a rating on iTunes. To find out more about how I can help you gain momentum in your elementary music teaching career, head to thedomesticmusician.com, where you'll find free downloads, courses, the blog, and so much more. Continue teaching music and never doubt the impact you're making each and every day in the lives of your students.